Hey guys, it's Sanat Kumaris. This is, my first video. This is, of course, this fantastic motherfucker, VK Jahannam, at your service, at my service, whatever. So I'm here to let you know that I'm going to be making videos. Never done this before, but I'm going to basically teach you what I know. And, with collaboration of VK, improve myself and hopefully you, the viewer. I appreciate VK for being in my video and, starting this channel off at a really great start. It's just it's a really great opportunity for me. Now what I wanted to talk to you about, or what I want to, is the undead gods. I've noticed that they're kind of underwritten by some people, as yes, they're powerful once you meet them, but then once you meet other deities, that they aren't really relevant. I don't believe that's true at all. They still have plenty of information to give you beyond after you meeting them. I have learned such lessons. Have you learned such lesson as well?
Yes, and keep in mind, the undead gods are all individuals. They're just ascended masters bound to the earth to practice vampirism. Keep in mind, the most powerful undead gods are bound from the earth. You can find them in Algol if you learn to astrally project that far. Now, most of what you'll find online about them is true but not true, because everyone writes about the subset of undead gods that they work with. So they'll make generalizations like, the undead gods demand evil, or the undead gods refuse to work with vampires who drink blood. That's all faggotry. They're individuals. The ones you've met don't necessarily speak for all of them, and he works very, very closely with them. I'd even say he knows them better than I do.
Yeah, on that note, I will, all of them, not just one or two or three, but all of them appeared to me. At first, when I first saw them, it was in a dream state. So I was sleeping, whatnot. It was a dream. I was dreaming, and all of a sudden, I was thrust into this, not necessarily a hallway, but more of a, what's that, as soon as you walk into a house, there's that room before you enter the whole house? I can't remember the name of it.
I didn't know there was a name for it.
Yeah, apparently there is, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember it later on. Maybe not in this video, but later on. But anyway, I was walking into this room, and they were all there. And in my dream, I could see their faces. And if you know anything about the undead gods, they don't have faces. They don't reveal their faces. You don't know what they look like. You don't know if they have beards, or if they're just no beards, or if they don't even have hair. Well, in my dream, I saw their faces and their descriptions, but after I woke up from that dream, it was as if they had accidentally done that, and that when I tried to remember it, they just went back and erased their faces. I could see their hair and whatnot, but I couldn't see their faces.
Like they accidentally allowed them to perceive something which they would prefer to keep private.
Yeah, I saw a secret that they unintentionally let me see. Well, after that, they all appeared to me as a biker-ish gang with black leather jackets, tattoos, stuff like that. And they introduced me to another room All of them. One of them had their arm around my shoulder, around my neck, like we were buddies. And they were like, "We're gonna show you something." And I saw things, and there was huge round, huge conference table with chairs and everything, as if that was a place where they get together and talk about things, on an astral, metaphysical scale, not just involving one person, but everything. And, I felt very privileged at this, because I was like, well, how does this, why am I being introduced to this? And the guy that had the undead god that had his arm around my neck had told me to say, "Hey, we have something very important to talk to you about." Well, unfortunately, that was where my dream ended, as I was walking through that door to the conference room. Later on in other dreams, I was actually sitting at that table in that conference room, talking to them. Not necessarily in English. I could understand what they were saying, or I was able to communicate with them, but I did not know what I was saying to them, but they understood what I was saying. Which, as he told me, was a very common thing, where it was speaking tongues, that you may be talking to a deity or an undead god or whoever. You may be talking to them and they can understand you, but you will not understand a damn thing that you say to them or what they say to you. So,
you're speaking from the soul.
Exactly. So, I will keep y'all updated on that aspect, and I hope and look forward to making more videos with y'all upon y'all's request on what I want on what I should talk about, if I don't already have a predetermined topic. When I make the videos, I will definitely take your recommendations into consideration. Do you have any thoughts or recommendations for them to leave them with?
Yeah, a few words about you.
Okay.
So, I got him into black magic right after I got into black magic, and back when all I could do was binge read and perform rituals constantly with what seemed to be mediocre results, he was instantly succeeding.
Oh, yeah, it was, and if I remember correctly, we were at church together when you introduced me to it.
Yeah, we were on a church retreat.
Mm-hmm.
A certain church that a lot of the bad kids hung out with. Bad kids like us. I was actually, for a long time, very innocent compared to him. He had the wisdom to leave Christianity long before I did. But of course, I was raised by fundamentalists. I don't know about you. How religious your parent is.
He was. I mean, the only thing he enforced was that I go to church every Sunday and Wednesday. And,
yeah, I was raised by fundamentalists.
He was raised by hardcore Bible thumpers.
I went on mission trips as a kid.
Mission trips, like, the whole 9 yards. Like, it was ridiculous.
So, the first time he performed a trance. Performed the practices to get into a trance state. The first time he did that, he astrally projected by accident.
I astrally projected, and I was able to not only see myself in an astral state, but the entire area around me in a certain radius, that I was actually able to see everything around me that was going on and happening, down to the detail. And when I told VK about this, he was like, "Wait, all I told you to do was go into a trance, and you astrally projected?" And I was like, "Yeah, is that normal?" And he was like, "No."
I was like, what the fuck?
What the hell?
So, he actually started getting results really, really soon. Doing very well psychically. He had less of a mental filter. I had a mental block. I even had like an astral block that I had subconsciously created to keep me from perceiving psychic things. He never had that. I had a lot of bad results. At first, the first time I saw a demon, right after I opened my third eye, I thought it was trying to feed on me, and I like a predatory spirit, and I tried to kill it. That demon wound up being the first one I summoned. Its name was Gargophius. This dude, because he was excelling so quickly, he kind of stopped learning from me, and he started learning from a Tibetan Buddhist and a Wiccan.
Yep.
Keep in mind, this is the Bible Belt. Very few people who are into witchcraft are doing it to be cool. I've met extremely few Wiccans who are not dope-ass practitioners.
I've met a few.
Yeah, but the majority seems to be dope around here.
Majority does seem to be on the more intense side of it. They're not just doing it to look cool for their friends or just doing it to smoke weed like most people perceive them to be. When after that whole episode with after I told VK about my experience of going into trance and then accidentally going into astral projection, I started going into learning about meditations and chakras, and I started off on that basis, and I kind of grew from there. It was, for most people, sometimes like meditations will take a little longer. It just depends person to person, but for me, it just sped up really quickly, and it was as if it was child's play. Like I would do it, and then it would happen,
right.
And I was like, "Wow, I'm really getting a hang of this." Well, whilst I was doing this, he was delving into a lot more deeper shit than me. I don't know if it was to catch up or if it was just because your thirst of knowledge is never ending.
This was my sole purpose as soon as I found it.
Yeah, it was like as soon as he just jumped straight into the deep end and absorbed it all as if it was nothing. And I was left there like, holy shit, I thought I was progressing. And here he is, like, knows all sorts of shit about shit I don't even know existed, you know? And so I would continue to progress and tell him, and he's like, wow, this is like, you know, I think at one point you said something like, you're like you've progressed faster than most people that I talk to that I don't even know that live across the country that have been doing this years longer than I have.
You have.
And I was like, what? Really? Like, shit. And then I jump into the deep end with him, and so now we're in it together, and I mean, it's smooth sailing. Like, honestly, the undead gods have been a key point in my beginning stages, because they've been not necessarily like helping me through life, but they've been teaching me things that they don't teach, or that most people don't get taught by themselves. Like harnessing the black flame, to be as an example, it's, you know, by yourself it's quite difficult.
If it's more than a minute and 30 seconds, why don't we just do a part 2?
Yeah, part 2, please. Thank you.